Alrighty, guys. We ready to get started? Okay, I like the enthusiasm. Thank you. So today, obviously, we are actually just going to go ahead and roll through. Sorry, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Hi, Jamie. So we do not obviously have a class that we've gone over KWB resources just yet. So I wanted to make sure that, of course, we met with you guys, and as new agents, we just kind of explained to you where to find all the tools and resources available to you, because that's, of course, very important. We know that real estate moves at different paces. We want to make sure everyone knows where to find the tools that they will need to succeed. So the very first thing, obviously, is navigating to kwbresources.com. This is what you guys will see. I do like to tell you guys a couple of things as a precursor. The first, of course, is that when we're going through this website together, if you have laptops, you guys can follow along. It's up to you. Otherwise, you can sit back and watch and kind of take in where you'll find those resources. I also like to mention as well, as part of this process, you guys will notice that there's multiple ways to pull to the same information on this website. So I like to show you guys the easiest routes to take as we go through. And then the other thing I always mention as well is, of course, your questions are welcome. If you are like me and you forget your questions by the end, you are welcome to just shout them out as we go. That same goes for anybody online. Jamie, that goes as well. If at any point you have a question, you're welcome to shout it out because I will hear you in our overhead speakers. So I'll be ready to take any of your questions. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. When we first arrive at this page, the very first thing I like to share with you guys is this new agent button right here in the middle. What this will do is it's going to take you to a culmination of resources that are mainly available to you and more conveniently located. As a new agent, we want to make sure all of this information is in one nice location for you. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to hit the Learn More button under Getting Started. This is really just going to highlight onboarding as a whole for you guys. Thankfully, everybody in this particular meeting has completed their onboarding process. So congratulations, guys. You're officially official. When we are looking over this, though, it is just kind of disclosing what you can expect as part of onboarding, really who's going to be reaching out to you at what point in time to make things really convenient. But the other thing I always mention as a part to anybody who has completed their onboarding process, there are some things we can do immediately at the bottom here. The very, very bottom bullet, we're not going to worry about because that is actually relevant to our previous office park. So don't worry about that one. Obviously, we don't need parking permits here, which is awesome. That is the worst thing in the world, I feel like, is trying to figure out, like, am I parked in the right place? Am I going to get towed? I hate that stress in my life. So when we're looking at things we can do immediately, the first is obviously browsing this website. We'll also take a look at our office training calendar together. Joining Ignite, for those of us who have not already participated, Ignite is going to help really lay the foundation for your new career in real estate. It is intended for agents that are averaging fewer than 16 transactions in a year. So if you feel like there's ever anything you can get a little refresher on, that is absolutely something you're welcome to plug into. Even if it's just kind of bouncing into one or two different classes that may speak a little bit more to your business rather than participating in the whole of Ignite, that is absolutely something we recommend for you. It is taught in this market center by our top producing agents. So you'll get tons of great information from firsthand experiences. We will also take a look at our Facebook pages that I recommend joining. Attending office meetings, which this is obviously one of them. So thank you guys. You're already well on your way. And then obviously we mentioned we will ignore that last bullet point for today. So know that that's some things you can expect as part of this conversation and some things to look out for moving forward. But coming back to our new agent button here, underneath on the left or the right hand side here, you're going to see there's a learn more option as well underneath basic training. So we'll go ahead and select that icon as well. This will take us to the Scott Leroy Marketing website. And for those of you who do not immediately recognize that name, Scott Leroy Marketing is who created all of your technology to get you up and running with Keller Williams. So when you do think of Scott Leroy Marketing, know that they are still a resource for you even after they've done that initial tech setup. So there's tons more that they can assist you guys on, and their assistance is usually very quick as well, so very time sensitive. They're usually getting back to you within about 10 to 15 minutes if you shoot them over an email. So while we're looking at their website, of course, we could spend tons of time on here. So out of respect for your time, we're just going to look at pieces of information. The first is that obviously we do arrive at this search field. So if you were to search in this particular option here, Oh goodness, that scared me really bad. So if you were to search in this little search bar, you guys can search keywords and have different information populate. One example I always share is QR codes. I know that not all the time do we know how to create QR codes ourselves, and that's obviously something that's become very popular nowadays, especially with print marketing. If you really want to help guide anybody back to anything that's digital, this is a great way to go about that, and it's very convenient. So if you don't already have a method of creating a QR code for yourself, you can do this through Scott Leroy Marketing for free. All you have to do is click on the QR code creation option. It'll allow you to fill out like a little jot form. You basically just tell them who you are, what your best email is, tell them what website you're looking to link this information back to, and they'll shoot that QR code back to you quickly, usually within an hour. So it can be a helpful tool for you guys to help support you in your business and what you are trying to print out and market. The other thing that I will share on this website is actually going to be this agent resources button at the top of the page. I do point this one out. It's now a button. It used to be a drop down menu, so bear with me. There's one extra step nowadays. It's going to ask you to type in our market center number. Bless you. It's going to ask you to type in that number, and you will have seen this number repeatedly now, and probably at some point it will get ingrained in your brains. So our market center number is 350. If you enter in that number, it's going to open up here in a second, and you'll see this now becomes that drop-down menu. So at the top of the screen, you can look through this drop-down menu. I always try to point out specifically this training option. And then if you go to the right here, you'll see training calendar. So know that Scott Leroy Marketing also offers tons of technology training for you guys as agents. So you can always lean into them as a supplement for the technology education you're getting within this office. Jules and Leah, our in-house tech coordinators, actually have a background with Scott Leroy Marketing, so you know you're getting the best of both worlds when you work with them. But when we're looking at this training calendar, know that Scott Leroy Marketing is offering a live tech training from 1 to 2 o'clock Monday through Friday. So I know, again, with real estate, it's really great because you can actually juggle that with other jobs, other responsibilities pretty easily. With that in mind, though, we understand that not everyone's schedules look the same. So understanding that you may not necessarily all be able to plug into the Tuesday and Thursday live tech trainings. If it ever makes more sense for your schedules to do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something to that effect, know that you can access a lot of live training through Scott Leroy specifically. All you have to do is click on that particular event. You'll see what the topic is for that particular class, and then you can click right there on the corresponding Zoom link to hop in that class live. I always like to encourage live participation in trainings, even if it is through Zoom, because you guys have opportunities to ask questions in real time, and we know the benefit of that rather than walking away feeling just as confused as when you sat down. That's never a good feeling. So this is going to be very, very helpful for you guys, hopefully, to, again, just to balance the foundation of your tech training. If there's ever any uncertainty, or maybe you guys are looking to learn how to do something for the first time. They also will have a wonderful YouTube channel that we'll take a look at later. And they are going to house all of those recorded videos from their trainings and some shorter videos as well that you guys can use in addition to the live trainings to help supplement your tech education. On the far right up at the top here, we also will see store. So this is the last thing I like to point out today in this conversation. If you guys select the store button at the top there, it is going to open up to agentstore.com. I share this with you because one of the most frequent questions I get from new agents tends to be, do you guys provide business cards, or how can I order my own business cards? So if you have not yet explored that, if you don't necessarily have a team that you're partnered with that will take care of that for you, Agent Store will be a wonderful resource to explore. The reason I point it out is because they do have some pre-done templates, so it's really easy to order something by just plugging in a little bit of your information. So if creativity is not maybe your strong suit and you're just looking for something to do the job, this could be a really good starting point for you guys. They also offer a fantastic price point that's highly competitive. Again, we obviously have to adjust for inflation nowadays, but 3 years ago, I was able to order 500 business cards through the same site, and it only cost me $35. So definitely a great price to consider. They also offer name tags and different things like that that you can order that will be branded to Keller Williams Valentine and feature your information. So keep it in mind, guys. Obviously, spreading the word now that you have this new business is highly important. So we want to make sure that you can do that through business cards, name tags, or whatever you prefer. We will come back now to kwbresources.com. Again, you guys are welcome to explore Scott Leroy Marketing site on your own time, but out of respect for the 1 hour we have, we're going to keep chugging along here. Underneath all of that information that we've glanced at so far, you're going to come across some Facebook pages. The top two are always the two I highly encourage you to participate in. The very first is going to be an internal Facebook page just of our agents and our leadership team. So if you're not already yet a part of that Facebook group, I would encourage you to join it. It's as simple as clicking that link and then requesting to be part of the page. I'll go in and approve that request when I see it come through. But this is going to be where you guys can find tons of information shared, not only about what's to be expected and what's going on in the Ballantyne Market Center, but it's also going to allow you guys to connect to the other agents in this office. As you can see, not all 560 of us are standing in this room right now. So sometimes it does make it a little bit easier for you to connect with agents that you may not run into in the hallways as frequently, especially when you guys are getting started. If you're new to Charlotte, if you're new to Keller Williams Ballantyne, if you are new to real estate in general, there's plenty of questions that can be asked on that Facebook page, and other agents will absolutely chime in and help collaborate to help you succeed. We say that all the time here, that the culture at KW Ballantyne is very collaborative, and we 100% mean that. If you guys post on that Facebook page looking for recommendations for vendors that can take care of, let's see, a roof out in Matthews, because you don't know anybody that services that area, people will literally screenshot contacts directly out of their phone and place them in the comment section so that you guys can get in touch with someone you can refer, you can rely on. In addition, if you're looking for referral partners and not familiar with specific agents out in a certain area, like if somebody you know is going to move to New York and you want to make sure you're connecting them with a great agent out in New York, but you don't know anybody out there, you can ask the same questions. Does anyone have a wonderful referral partner out in Buffalo, New York? And people will drag and drop their contact information in there just to help you out. So know that that's a really great way for you guys to get some simple answers to those questions and make the proper connections. And then I will be on there almost like ad nauseum talking about the upcoming trainings and events so that you guys are thoroughly plugged in just through that Facebook page and can easily click on any of those links to register for those events. Underneath that, you will see that we also have a strategic alliance partners Facebook page. This will be very similar in concept. It's going to be another private group. It's going to be our agents, our leadership team, and this will also feature our vendor partners. So as part of Keller Williams Ballantyne, we do have a preferred vendor program. And what that means is that all of the wonderful vendors that are a part of that program have actually been vetted by other Keller Williams Ballantyne agents. So you know that you are working with somebody, again, that you can trust their quality of service and know that they will do the best job to serve you and your clients. So with that being said, if you are looking to get connected with those wonderful vendor partners, because maybe you are on the hunt for someone specific that's not already in your repertoire of wonderful vendors, you can click right on that link there. You'll join that Facebook page just by sending, again, a simple request. I can hop in there and approve your request, and then you'll have access to all of those vendors. When you are looking on that Facebook page, they're constantly talking about promotions that they're offering, upcoming deals, different services that they may be unveiling for the first time. And as with Facebook, you guys can actually use the little magnifying glass and just search plumber, and any plumbers that we've got as part of that page will immediately populate, and you can then go ahead and grab some quotes from each of them. So sometimes it can make that connection just that much easier through that common Facebook group. There are also the other two here, Charlotte Area Realtor Network, obviously helping you to connect with other realtors in the Charlotte area. And then just below that is the KW Carolinas region Facebook group. And that's going to allow you guys to connect with other Keller Williams agents based out of North and South Carolina, whether they are right here in Charlotte or all the way up against Wilmington and the coast. You'll be able to connect with all of those wonderful agents and also regional leaders. And then they do their own separate set of events that you are welcome to plug into. So if you want to be aware of what special events, maybe you can travel to Hilton Head for the weekend just to mastermind. Like that's a great excuse to get to the beach. So if you guys are looking for any information like that on those upcoming events, the Charlotte or the Carolinas region Facebook group there will speak about those frequently. If we continue down here, we will come across Kellerisms. While I will not click on it today, I will tell you guys that this really is more of a dictionary than anything. It's going to break down the terminology you're hearing as part of your affiliation with Keller Williams. Part of our culture is that we've got this really developed language, and some of these terms are great, and they mean something very, very unique to Keller Williams. And maybe we don't know what that word means because it literally doesn't exist outside of these doors, and that's okay. If you guys are wondering what that term means or what it's referring to, you can click on Keller colorisms, it will break down each of those terms and give it to you in real world terminology. So that's much more easily understood. But of course, if you have any of those questions, you're welcome to reach out to a leadership team member. We are happy to make that connection for you and kind of help decipher what you're hearing. But if you're ever shy about it, or maybe it's a later hour in the evening, Colorisms has got your back. As we scroll a little bit further, this is a resource that each of us did actually talk about as part of your onboarding appointment. If we do have questions about the technology as we're getting familiar with it, obviously, again, anybody new to Keller Williams, this will be your first time exploring this technology. So if you do have questions about what you're looking at with Command, and maybe it's something simple, I'm just trying to figure out how to do it for the first time, or maybe there is something that doesn't seem like it's doing what it needs to do. Maybe there's something I need to troubleshoot. You guys can refer to answers.kw.com. It is a website that's just frequently asked questions about Command and similar KW platforms. So you guys can search keywords and helpful articles will appear. They will feature some screenshots as well. So it's pretty easy to then follow along and get a visual piece to go along with it. And then in addition to answers.kw.com, there is also a sister website called ideas.kw.com, and that's actually just designed to take your feedback, and you can drop in your suggestions on ways to improve Command, because they are constantly unveiling new updates. So if there's ever anything you'd like to see to make the workflow a bit more efficient in Command, they want to hear that kind of feedback, whether you are brand new and this is your first time working with any CRM, or whether you're an agent that was with another firm, so you know what another CRM looks like and how it operates, and you think that there are elements of that you'd like to bring into Command as well. For those of us who are participating in Ignite, if you need those materials and you do not yet have access to them, you can download them here. And then you will eventually come across access to our training calendar. We're not going to look at it from this perspective. We're going to look at it a little bit further along into the training today, just because there is a much easier way that does not involve nearly as much scrolling and digging and clicking and all the things. And then at the very bottom here, you will arrive at an opportunity to book conference rooms. I will tell you that the easiest way to book a conference room actually on this site is just the More drop-down tab here. You'll see right in the middle, it says schedule a conference room. That's the easiest way to get to this particular information. But if you were looking to book our conference rooms, we do have 5 different rooms available on this floor that are free resources on rotation for you to use as an agent in this office. The conference rooms that we have vary in the capacity. So there's some that are 4-person conference rooms all the way to 8-person conference rooms. So depending on who you are expecting to meet with, it may make sense to have a smaller or larger room. We want to make sure you've got a private space where you can have these conversations. We do prefer that, of course, to make sure that the resources are being allocated properly and that they are available to share with others. We prefer that your use of the conference room is one reserved for collaborative efforts, whether we're meeting with other agents, whether we are meeting with clients to have consultations, or we're meeting with coaches as well. Those conversations, of course, involving more than one person can happen in those wonderful conference rooms. We also ask too that you keep those reservations about 2 hours or less, just to make sure the resource is available for others. And then there are 2 focus rooms as well. So if you are just looking for more of a quiet space to work, if you don't already have an office or something like that, it may be very critical for you to have just a little bit of privacy to do your cold calling. I know sometimes it can feel a little awkward to do that out in public. So if you're looking for just a quiet space to get some independent work done, we have 2 focus rooms just outside of this back door here, and those are going to be single desk office spaces that you are allowed to also borrow for about 2 hours at a time, get any of that lead gen done in the morning, and then go about the rest of your day. And again, it just helps us to make sure that they are on rotation for other agents as well. Again, this is a free resource for you guys to take advantage of. All you have to do is click the schedule conference room. It'll take you to a secondary website called skeda.com. It will allow you to create a login to get into that system, and then it's going to open up to this really fantastic spreadsheet. Across the top bar there, you'll see all of the conference rooms that we have, along with the capacity that they hold. And then down the left-hand side, you're going to see all of the times throughout the day. So all you have to do is drag and drop your reservations around what's already placed in there, so you know that you'll have access to that room with little to no hesitation at all. So keep me in mind as well as you guys are booking that conference room for the first time. I am an admin on the page, so if anybody ever experiences any challenges with that, just let me know. I'm happy to help you out. And then we're going to just go back to the home page, because if you can believe it, that actually all was under just that new agent button. And I do always make the joke, but I'm very serious about this. I know we're going to go kind of slow in the beginning and we're really going to ramp up. I promise we will go faster as we get into the next few tabs here. So it will take a little bit of time in the beginning here, but we will move a little quicker as we go through. When we scroll past that new agent button, you will see our staff directory. Again, just reminding you who here is on your leadership team, what roles each of us have, and also how you can reach out to us. And I will always notice when it does this, and that drives me crazy because on my screen, it's based off the monitor side. So hopefully on your laptops, you don't see that. But okay, thank God, because on my screen, when I'm doing this at my desk, it looks great. And then I come in here and I look like I'm blind, and it really upsets me. So I promise it looks normal most of the time. As we scroll down a little bit further, there are some videos that have been posted that are available for your reference at any given time. Leah has actually created these videos herself, and they're designed to help you guys out with some of the basics of KW Command. Most importantly, making sure you guys can get paid when you have that first closing. So the very first, or I should say, the bottom of these two videos is going to explain how Command relates to DocuSign, how to make sure your accounts are properly linked together, so you guys don't experience any difficulty getting those forms through your opportunities moving forward. Because again, obviously the transaction itself may bring additional hurdles just in case you've got a difficult agent on the other end or your buyers are a little challenging to work with. There will be hurdles that come across with certain transactions. The last thing we want is an additional hurdle just because of your KW technology. Let's make sure everything's set up so that when we have that first piece of business, we have little to no issues and we can roll through and take any punches that may come our way. But with KW commands, the KW command with DocuSign, it's just a 25-minute video and it's going to make sure you know how to link everything together so that when you are in that first transaction, you do not have any issues getting those forms through to KW command. The top video here is about submitting commission requests as well. So anytime you guys are going under contract, you should also be submitting a commission request. This will allow our MCA, Lynn Davis, to know that you've got a closing coming up. She can make sure that everything looks nicely done in that commission request, that she understands where those funds are to be allocated. And then that way, once she's approved the commission request, she receives that check in hand, assuming that you guys have gotten all your documents approved by our compliance coordinator, Carla. We can go ahead and issue that payment for you to drop into your account the next business day. So as long as you've gone through the steps of making sure all your files are uploaded and approved by Carla, and you've submitted that commission request in addition so that Lynn can overview and then also approve that document, you guys are good to go. That payment will be scheduled for you. But of course, first timers, it might be a little confusing going about that commission request. So there is a video that will always be available to you here to help walk you through that process. We do eventually arrive at our office training calendar. The much quicker and easier way is just by clicking the office calendar tab, allowing this to do all the dragging down for you so that you fall right in this section. What I will say, of course, as I did for our onboarding appointments, guys, I don't love this widget. I find it to be a little difficult to read at a glance. So to make your lives easier, always click here for a full calendar view. If you click on that option, this will become a much easier to read document where you can actually visualize what's happening and get a better feel for what to expect in the next couple weeks here. So you can actually fast forward into December. I know we're wrapping up and we've got Thanksgiving next week, so it's going to be a little lighter. So if you'd like to explore what's happening in the start of next month, you absolutely can. But as a general rule of thumb, this calendar is designed to be a one-stop shop for you guys. Ideally, you'll have a good feel for what the training entails and whether or not you'd like to be involved in it just by looking at the calendar. So when you see something that sounds enticing to you, all you have to do is click on that event. You can get a full description just by clicking on it. Anything that is ever available through Zoom, whether it's strictly a Zoom class or a hybrid experience, that Zoom link is always going to be in that description. Anytime you guys are trying to register for an in-person event that requires you to register, so we have an idea of our head count, a sign-up genius is always going to be included. And then anything in between where it's an in-person recurring meeting like our team meetings, and you guys just want to come on in, you absolutely can. All you have to do is refer to it on the calendar. You'll get an idea of when it is, add it to your own calendar and come on in and meet us here. No registration necessary for those, and that will be detailed obviously in that description as well. So ideally, this will give you guys a feel for what is coming up at the very end of this year and starting with next year as well. Please join us for anything and everything on this calendar that seems exciting to you. For those of us who are participating in Ignite right now, understand that you do not have to complete all of Ignite before you can start taking other trainings. So if you see something on the calendar kind of in the midst of taking Ignite that sounds exciting, don't feel like you cannot participate and you have to sit it out for any reason. You absolutely can be in the room with us. You can kind of both at the same time. It just depends on whether or not you're interested in what's happening in the market center. I will always tell you that we have all the tools and resources that you need to succeed, starting with our amazing training calendar here. So it's up to you guys as business owners on how much you choose to plug into these tools and resources and how much you choose to take advantage of what's given to you. So know that as business owners, it's all here. We're not requiring you technically to do anything. I will just heavily, heavily encourage it along the way. So this is going to be a wonderful tool for you. The other thing I will always point out is this add Google Calendar option in the very, very bottom right corner. If you guys select that option, it will allow you to copy our entire live calendar directly onto your Google Drive calendar. I love this feature because it makes it so I do not have to continually refer back to KWB resources. I don't have to keep that website top of mind. And all I have to do when this becomes a little overwhelming and I can't find when I scheduled that listing appointment for next week, I can turn this calendar off and I can focus just on what's on my specific calendar. So it's a really cool feature. Again, not something you are required to do, but if it helps you in any way, of course, we want you to know about it. So I'm going to exit back and take us all the way back actually to kwbresources.com. As we scroll past the calendar, we will be highlighting some of the recurring meetings and things like that underneath it, just so you guys have a rough point of when to expect the next session of something. Our ALC meetings are held by our Agent Leadership Council. They are here to represent different committees in Ballantyne and help to express voices of our agents. So know that those are happening once a month on the third Tuesday of every month. We're also having team meetings on the second and fourth Tuesday, and those are just tons of fun, honestly. We bring a lot of energy here at 11 a.m., so bear with us. I know it's still morning time, but it's really fun. We get together. We do actually do a wonderful job of highlighting what you can expect as upcoming trainings. We're congratulating agents on their achievements. We're welcoming new agents. We are getting updates from our ALC, from our tech coordinators, from our BIC associate. So there's tons of information to be had in those meetings, and it gives you a good feel for what's currently happening in Ballantyne. The other really cool thing about those team meetings is that we invite our vendor partners to join us for it. So we will have a handful of vendor partners out here in the hub area. So for those of us who may not have vendor connections just yet, this is a great way for you guys to make those connections just by stopping by those tables, getting to know those vendors and what they can offer both you and your clients. And then for those of us who even have vendor connections and a good kind of arsenal of connections there, I would still encourage you to participate in team meetings and stop by those tables because you never know if you're going to meet somebody else that's going to be your next favorite person to work with. And then on the far right here, we're highlighting our Tech Tuesdays. We did already kind of touch on that. Our tech coordinators every Tuesday are teaching foundational, basic line concepts for your KW technology designed for you as a new agent. So they're going to be talking about, I think next Tuesday is a DocuSign overview. So if anybody's unsure about how to use DocuSign, that would be a great class to jump in on with Jules and Leah. The Tech Tuesdays are offered both in person and through Zoom, so know that there's some flexibility to be offered there. And then we'll come across our BIC, Sabre Romeo, and our BIC associate, Tasha Viney. Both of these lovely ladies are here to help you guys succeed in your real estate career and endeavors. So please know that you can refer to either of them whenever necessary. I will say that Tasha Viney is going to be physically in this office a lot more commonly. Sabre is not actually physically in the office very often. Her mother is 101 years old. So she has been with her mother and helping to care for her. So ever since COVID, she just has not quite been in the office the same. But Tasha Viney is in the office 3 days a week. She's also here to help support you guys and can answer a lot of the same questions. So what I always tell you is if it's a non-urgent, more administrative question, always refer to Tasha, whether it's stopping by her office, shooting her a quick email. If it is ever a legal issue with your transaction, do not waste any time. Go directly to Sabro. We want to make sure we've got everything sorted out as quickly as possible for you. And then underneath that, I know we're nowhere near the month of June, but when it comes time for renewals, making sure we've hit all the requirements and done all the things we need to have our ducks in a row. There are some helpful charts here to walk you through what you are expected to do by that time of the renewal period. So just know that this information is available to you here if you need it at any point. Underneath, you will see a quick slideshow of the individuals serving on our ALC. So again, they're all serving different committees here at Ballantine. We have several co-chairs actually this year. And above their names, you'll see the particular chair and committee that they're working with. You'll also see their contact information listed just below. So if you guys are ever interested in reaching out to any of these individuals, maybe interested in the conversations that their committee has or getting involved, you are absolutely more than welcome to stop by and be part of their individual committee meetings. Usually those are taking place on the first Tuesday of the month. You'll see them on the calendar, so do not worry about memorizing that information. But these are all wonderful individuals that you are welcome to get connected with. All you have to do is reach out to them using the email that's listed for them. You guys can even just come in to share some feedback as well of what you'd like to see coming up in the market center or things you maybe would tweak a little bit, or if you want to have a hand in anything at all. So our social committee and our KW Cares committee, they are focusing on planning all the fun events here and also representing the charitable arm of this office. We also have career development committee. Our career development committee focuses on the trainings and opportunities that are brought into the office. And then we also, thirdly, we have a goodness gracious, now I'm losing my train of thought. Growth committee. And growth committee is going to make sure that you have all the tools you need to have conversations to help you build your passive income through profit share. So if you have interest in building up your profit share and your downline, talk to growth committee. They're happy to share some great scripts. They're happy to give you opportunities to get in front of new agents so that you have these same opportunities to build that downline. For those of us who are brand new to real estate, we do offer two key pillars of mentorship. The first is a productivity coach. What your coach will do for again, those of us who are going directly into coaching, your coach is here to meet with you every single week. Make sure you pretty much understand what it means to be a realtor because we know that real estate school kind of left that part out. So when you guys are interested in having conversations about, so, okay, so how do I hold an open house? What is my script supposed to look like when I'm doing cold calling? What should my mindset be to get me into gear in the mornings? Your coach is here to help you out. They're going to talk to you about different lead generation tactics. They're also going to want, above all else, to know what your goals are. And they want to know how they can help support you and hold you accountable to meeting those goals. So if you have interest in joining the coaching program, if you're not already, obviously you can connect with Michelle Amador. She oversees this coaching program. But if you guys are brand new and not yet connected to a coach, please email me. I'm happy to make sure you get that connection underway. Sorry, I did just kind of, I thought it was maybe yours, Joe. So I was like, I don't want to screw him up too bad. I'm just going to tuck it in the corner here. No, oh my gosh, you're fine. You are absolutely fine. Underneath that coaching section, we also come across our second pillar of mentorship, which is known as a transaction partner or a T group partner. So again, they are meeting every single week. These are your contracts and forms experts. So every week they are meeting with you, chunking down the content of what you are responsible for completing on behalf of the clients you're working with. So whether it's a North Carolina focus or a South Carolina focus, we've got transaction partners for each. They are here to make sure you know exactly what you are doing so that when you meet with those clients, again, one less thing in the back of your brain that's concerning, you can go in much more confident and ready to tackle that with success. So again, we will connect you with a transaction partner as part of your onboarding. If you've not yet been connected with a transaction partner and you'd like to have that connection, please just shoot me an email. I'm happy to introduce you to somebody that will work well for your schedule so that you've got an additional resource and friend in the office. And then at the bottom, we do come across helpful resources, frequently used websites, all of which I will tell you, you can much more easily access at the top here. So now that we've taken, like I said, a good chunk of time on just that home page, we're going to move a little faster as we go. So the next tab we're looking at here, guys, is FAQs at the top. We select FAQs. All this tab is here is an idea of some frequently asked questions. It is here to help you guys understand what the responsibilities are of each of us on leadership. So if you are not quite sure what an MCA is, I don't blame you. It definitely takes a little bit of time to figure out what that is. It's definitely going to be someone you want to know. I will tell you that right now. She's cutting your checks. So you want to know her. But if you guys are not quite sure what a certain individual's role is and you want to make sure you're directing your questions to the right person, here's some generalized questions. All you have to do is hover your mouse over that tile and it will tell you who on leadership handles that responsibility. So you know immediately who you can connect with. If you're ever not quite sure who to reach out to, you can always reach out to me directly. I'm happy to make those connections for you, especially if you're realizing your question's not really referred to at all on this page. We want to make sure you know who to reach out to. But keep this in mind if you're ever not sure who to field a question to. Lynn Davis, though, again, going to be one of your favorites, guys. All money in, all money out. If you've got questions about anything concerning your finances, that is your girl. The next tab we look at, I do bypass that About tab usually as part of this conversation. The next tab we look at is called On Demand Training. When we click on this tab, the first thing you guys will see is that it's password protected. So we will need a password to join this or to access this page. I do apologize because normally I don't have that easel in the way here. So gentlemen, you probably can see the password listed there. It's exactly like our Wi-Fi password, but no exclamation point. So you guys, so ladies over here, that password, if you'd like to write it down or type it in somewhere, is capital B, lowercase a, M, C, 350. There is no exclamation point. And then when we hit enter, it allows us to see what's behind that screen. So under on-demand training, I do tell you guys, if you have a complicated schedule for any reason, whether that's kiddos, whether that's school, another job, if your schedule is a little more complex than others, this might be one of your favorite tabs on the website. So on the left-hand side under on-demand, if you select this button that says on-demand, it's going to take you to our Keller Williams Ballantyne YouTube channel. So if you guys ever miss a key meeting or a recurring event at all that you would like to know what you may have missed, like a team meeting, a Tech Tuesday, you want to be part of that conversation, but it truly just did not work for your schedule, you can access all of those recordings right here on our YouTube channel. You'll see at the bottom we have playlists created based off of the type of meeting that is available to you on this YouTube channel. So again, I will tell you, this is not every single thing that we're offering. This is more of the recurring meetings and things like that. So if you are curious about what that update is from the last time you would have attended a team meeting, for example, this is where you can access that information. Again, organized by the class type just to make it a little bit easier for you. And then also, I will say as part of this, while we do have this YouTube channel and while it is getting updated fairly regularly, there will be occasions where YouTube will reject a recording that I'm trying to submit to it because it thinks it violates a policy. I've even tried to override it by talking to an actual representative and they didn't like my answer. So in the event that you are looking for a specific video on this website and just not finding it, always email me because there's a good chance that I still have access to that recording. I just couldn't publish it here for you. And I'm more than happy to still send it to you if you're looking for something specific. The other piece that I always mention when we're looking at the YouTube channel is that while this is a great resource to take advantage of, we still will highly encourage you guys to participate live as often as possible. Again, whether that's physically in the training room or through the Zoom and doing this remotely. The reason we heavily emphasize that again is not to inconvenience you. It's to make sure that you have an opportunity to get your questions answered in real time. The worst feeling in the world is feeling like, okay, I didn't really get that. I still have some questions, but I guess I'm just gonna have to wait for 2 weeks to ask somebody that, whatever that looks like. So if again, you are sick, you're traveling and you actually want to put your toes in the sand and not worry about real estate, I understand that. We want you guys to enjoy those vacations. We want you to enjoy the holidays with your families. So in the event that you guys miss anything at all and you're wondering what that looked like, you can absolutely refer back to the YouTube channel if you were not able to attend it live. On the right-hand side, very, very similar in concept and something we have looked at before, or at least talked about before. On the right-hand side here, this is Scott Leroy Marketing's YouTube channel on this on-demand button here. You click on that, it will take you to the Scott Leroy Marketing YouTube channel. Again, very similar in concept. They're uploading all kinds of videos about tech training. You will see whether it is just a few minutes long to a full-length training opportunity. And obviously that cover photo there makes it really easy to identify what the focal point of that class is. So you know right away, is that something I want to watch, or is that going to be a time waster when I'm looking for something else? So know that this all exists right here on this page. Again, they've organized some wonderful playlists to make your life easier. And they are here to help you, again, as a great supplement for those of us with complex schedules. If we can't plug into the live trainings with Jules and Leah, this may be a really good fit for you guys. The other thing I always mention too is sometimes we may be wanting to do something very specific, like a Facebook ad. And maybe Jules and Leah, you can look at their calendar. Okay, they're not going to talk about it for 2 more weeks, but I really want to do that this weekend. I want to work on that this weekend. You guys can refer back to either or of the YouTube channels and see if there are videos, which there usually are, videos regarding that content, so you can have that information on demand when you are looking to implement it. Take us back. So that was under the on-demand training tab. Leah has again put her wonderful videos right here available to you just to make life easier if we do need to refer back to them for some additional tech setup info. And then at the bottom, we're just jotting a little bit more information down about Ignite. I do email everyone the same information, so we're not going to necessarily take time to read that today. But the next tab I share with you, before we click on it, I just want to hover over it, is Office Resources. I hover over this before we click on it because truthfully, I think that those first 3 items in that drop-down menu are much easier to access from this drop-down menu than if we click into the tab. And these are some 3 fairly important pieces as well. The top is advertising guidelines. So for those of us who are obviously new to real estate, not really sure what we can and cannot have legally on some of those advertisements, this is a really good reference guide for you. For provisional brokers in the state of North Carolina, you absolutely will want to be referring to the advertising guidelines for your business cards, even, which I should have mentioned that earlier, and I normally try to. When it comes to your business cards, you do need to get approval from our BIC associate, Tasha Viney, before you print and order those cards. Make sure you are getting her approval because the last thing we want is for you to print something, find out you can't use it legally, and then you've just wasted money. That's never fun. So rather than put you guys through that, make sure you are consulting with Tasha, getting approval on that design so you know it's okay to move forward and get those printed off. For our broker status agents, obviously, you know that comes with a little bit more freedom and flexibility, which is lovely. But you still may have a couple questions about, hey, let me refer back to the advertising guidelines, make sure I'm not going to, ruffle any feathers by posting this one particular thing. By referencing advertising guidelines, you can find a lot of key info on there. The other thing I always mention when referring to this is you can find a lot of our logo files by clicking on that button as well. So if you need to find the Keller Williams Ballantine logo specifically, you can find those available through advertising guidelines. Just below that is our concession request. Obviously, we know that not every transaction is by the book, nice and cut and dry. So if you ever need to request a concession letter for any reason during that transaction, all you need to do is click on that option there. It will take you to a Google form that you can fill out. Tasha's basically outlined several different questions to make sure she's collecting all the information she needs to draft that letter for you right there on the first go around. What she found before is that if an agent kind of emailed her something, she'd have half the information she need, and then you guys would end up just going back and forth and back and forth. She didn't like that because she felt like that was a time waster for you, and she wanted to get you that letter, but she had to keep asking for more information. So rather than put you guys in the position to do this back and forth, the concession request right there, if you just type in the information to each of those fields, she will have collected all the info she needs, and then she can issue that letter and get it right back over to you. So know that that is where you will fill out a concession request for any time you need a concession letter issued. And then below that, this is one that almost everybody I think is familiar with, is our do not call list. So if you guys are planning to do a lot of cold calling as part of your business, of course, we don't want you guys to get in trouble for anybody that you're dialing that you should not be because they've specifically asked not to be. So rather than put you guys in a position to be subjected to thousands of dollars in fine and court time, because that's a double whammy. We want to make sure that you guys have access to that list. So if you click on the do not call list drop down menu item there, what it will do is it will give you step-by-step instructions on how you can access that content, register for it, make the account so you guys can see who not to call, and then you don't fall into a bad position. So know that that is also available to you through the office resources. But now that we've talked about those 3, the other 2 options are very easy to access on the page. So I'm going to go ahead and click in here for you guys. By doing so, you will be asked to type in a password again. It's the same password we already shared. And I'm going to reiterate what that is for you. It is a capital B, lowercase a, M, C, 350. And then eventually it will open up. And so once we get into this tab, just a couple things that I like to point out for you on the left-hand side, because I believe everybody, I'm sorry, Takesha, you are South Carolina licensed. I'm going to look at North for today. I'm so sorry. Just know for South Carolina, all you need to do is you need to go on this side. So South Carolina forms are over here. North Carolina forms are over here. So for North Carolina, guys, if you are looking for office-specific forms, because I know obviously your state contracts and forms you can get through DocuSign or Zip forms. When it comes to office specific or firm specific, if you hit this get forms option, it's going to take you to a Google Drive folder that Sabra actually drafted herself and put everything together, because these were all documents she felt like she was asked for fairly regularly. And again, it just kind of ate up time. She wanted to make sure this was stuff you guys could access as soon as you needed it. So under this Google Drive folder, these are all documents and forms that are specific to KW Valentine. So we've got referral agreements, we've got our W-9, we've got working with real estate agent disclosures, we've got disclosures about title company partnerships that we have. There's also septic and sewer information, because I will tell you, Sabra is a stickler when it comes to septic and sewer. So if you are not new to real estate and that was not part of your normal system, know that you will be asked for septic and sewer information. You can find the documents in here. And then we also do have information about showing time. We've also got referral agreements, if I didn't already mention that. So please do take a look at this Google Drive folder. There's tons of information you will probably need at some point down the line. It's just a matter of when. What I will tell you too, again, for our newer agents that don't already know where to find every single document and form, your contracts and forms for the state will be available to you through your DocuSign once you've got your NERDS number in there. Or you can go and find them under Zip Forms, which is a feature through Canopy. So you can go through either or. That's where you're going to get all the state contracts and forms. This is going to be our firm specific information in this Google Drive folder. I tell you guys, wherever you start looking, if you realize you can't find a specific document, try the other source. So if you're starting the Google Drive folder, go to DocuSign. Started in DocuSign, go to the Google Drive folder. Between the two sources, you should have access to everything you need. But these are our North Carolina specific documents. South Carolina, again, to Keisha's, everything is going to be the same. It's just South Carolina specific on the right-hand side here. And then in the middle, under our office checklist, again, Sabra's created a Google Drive folder with some checklists that are designed to help you guys out. So when you are looking here, what you'll see is that she's given you an overview of everything you were responsible for handling in your transaction, whether specific to the responsibility, and then also giving you a time frame. If anything has a set time limit, she's included that on there too. And you guys can literally sit there and check off, yes, I've done this. Yes, I've done this. Oops, nope, got to go back and handle that. But it's just a way to outline that transaction, because we know those first few are not muscle memory. And we certainly don't want anybody to feel uneasy going into that first deal. We want you guys to go in confident and feel like you are going to nail it, because you will. But if this document or similar documents help to give you that additional confidence boost, this is exactly where you can find that information. Again, she has covered both the North and South Carolina states. No matter what side of the transaction, all of that information can be found in here. And then as things change, she is also updating this information so that you know that you are following the current processes as they are intended to be. So I'm going to take us out. I'm going to bounce back over to our office resources. So again, North Carolina's firm specific forms, South Carolina firm specific forms, and then helpful checklists along the way. Beneath that, if you guys are interested at all, the CE Shop is obviously a real estate education source. We do partner with not only them, but also Superior. So as you guys move forward, you do have access to some fantastic discounts to take advantage of for future education for yourselves. You guys can also share these discounts with other people. There's no obligation at all for anyone using those codes to join Keller Williams Valentine. So feel free to shower all your friends and family with love and give them all these great discounts for their real estate education. It is always a great way to make somebody's day. But when we talk about the CE Shop specifically, I will tell you to hit the Find Classes button here. It's going to take you to our dual branded website with the CE Shop. There's two reasons I like to point this out. Obviously, in addition to those discounts, speaking a little bit more to the discounts, know that the CE Shop will fluctuate discounts. So I've seen it as low as 20% and as high as I think 50% off. I know, for example, Black Friday, they're going to do 40% off, just a heads up. So if anyone needs to get CE, post licensing, anything like that, that, you guys can get 40% off through CE Shop. But I will point out that CE Shop is going to be self-paced learning. So this is either a hit or a miss for people, as I understand it. You either love it or you absolutely hate it. But if you are not quite sure where you fall in that spectrum because you did superior beforehand, and you're interested in at least checking it out, you actually can do a free trial through the CE Shop where you can agree to do a 1 week full of self-paced learning. If you like it, amazing. Continue on, give them your credit card info and roll through. You absolutely hated it. You can walk away without having any impact to your score, any consequences, anything like that. You can walk away from it and then sign up for Superior. So know that that is an option. Of course, again, they expand beyond just the Carolinas region. You guys can get licensed or schooling information for just about every state. Let's be honest, that's a lot to look at. So whether you are from here or from another state, if you want to try and get your license out in that state, absolutely take a look. They've got a lot to offer here. As you scroll through their homepage, again, referring back to those discount codes, you can actually see what those discounts will do to the particular package that you may be looking to purchase. So you can see in real time how that assists you. Anytime that they are doing a 1 day flash sale, I get email notifications about those ahead of time. So when it is a 1 day flash sale, I post that information to our private Facebook group, the one that's just me and you guys on there. I will post those flash sales and the special code associated with it at 8 a.m. the morning it goes live. So if you guys are ever looking for, oh, I wonder if there's like a better discount available, you can check our Facebook group. If something was posted that morning at 8 a.m., you'll see it right then and there. Makes it very easy for you to take advantage and get the biggest bang for your buck. I will also tell you, in addition to that, as a hint, a lot of times their flash sales are on Wednesdays. So just a heads up. And then as we scroll towards the bottom, this did used to be at the top. So I didn't used to have to go through all that and look like I'm actually clinically insane. But we're going to look at this teeny tiny fine print at the bottom, only because I like to share the hot topic section as well when we're looking at this page. If you click on hot topics, the reason I share this with you, gentlemen, or with everybody in this room, is because if you guys plan on having a heavy social media presence, again, you're going to be your marketing specialist. You will want to refer to Jules and Leah if that's something that's not quite your strength. Jules and Leah will be here to help you. But what I do understand about marketing, especially on social media, there's two things that are critically important to your success in social media marketing. The first is that you are posting all the time, whether that's every single day, every other day. You want to keep your presence as maximized as possible. You want to be as regular with your presence in social media. The second factor is making sure that you're diversifying the content you're sharing. If you're sharing the same old stuff, it will algorithmically, you will eventually kind of be muted to other people. They won't see your stuff if you're just posting the same old, same old, same old. Nobody's going to see it. People aren't interacting with it. You're not going to get more interactions because of that. If you are looking to diversify the content without having to necessarily exercise too much brain power in the morning, I do not have any issue with that. I fully understand. And I want to make sure you guys know that hot topic sections like this exist where you guys can actually pull ebooks, podcast videos, blogs, anything like that relative to real estate. You guys can literally, if it is one of those days where you're like, yeah, I literally don't know what to post on social media, but I know I need to. You guys can grab this information, literally just share the link onto your Facebook page, and that will count. That will meet your requirement for posting for that day. It's different information than you probably shared the day before. There's some information on here that's just generally informative and helpful to you as the realtor. It's stuff that you can share with the general public as well in regards to what is the market doing. So you can have more kind of cut and dry pieces that are more informational than anything else. They also have some more lighthearted pieces if you guys want to bring some of that kind of humor to the picture. I see every time around Halloween, they always do like a how to sell a haunted house. They'll do like a DIY fails. So there's some fun stuff in here as well that not only can you take amusement out of, but you can share it with others. So I encourage you to do that, especially if social media presence is a big part of your marketing plan. So taking us all the way back to KWB resources, going underneath here under the CE shop, there's access to the Valentine floor plan. I really don't think you guys will probably ever refer to that. I'm going to be honest. And only because I've been here 3 years and I think I've looked at it twice. So underneath there at the very bottom, there are some numbers to know. This you will probably refer to a little bit more frequently than the floor plan. Although again, these numbers are not going to be something that are in your face all the time. So if you do decide you'd like to get your South Carolina license, for those of us who are just in North right now, and you are filling out that application because you passed your exam, yay. Now we just need to get the license number issued. It's going to ask you guys to include our South Carolina firm number or firm license number. You very well probably will not know that information, and that's okay. We don't expect you to. But if you come down here for numbers to know, you'll find numbers like that right here on this page. So these are important numbers, yes, but things that you may not be asked for as frequently and that are not going to be just posted around the office every single place. The other piece that I always share with you guys is our tax ID is included. I know that becomes very important when we're talking about referrals, so we want to make sure you guys have access to our tax ID. So that is going to be where you can find information akin to that. And if you ever lose track of where to find this information further down the line, shoot me an email. I'm happy either to direct you back to that or just pull the information for you. So let me know how I can help you out. And then returning to the top here again, we did already talk about the office calendar. I won't click on that today, but know that it'll do all that fun work for you. Tech resources, in truthfulness, we have talked about the majority of these. So again, you guys can find a more convenient way to access some of the information we've already looked at in this drop-down menu, but I'm not necessarily going to take too much time to look over those individually with you. But referring to the More tab at the top right, there's a couple things I will point out before we obviously part ways today and wrap this up. Under the More tab, the first few things that I'll point out, ALC meeting minutes. If you miss one of those larger ALC meetings where everybody got together and they started talking about big decisions to be making and implementing for Ballantyne in the future, for example, while it has not happened in a while, when we had made the decision to reduce our cap and subsequently at a later date, we actually increased our transaction fee at one point. Questions like that or conversations like that, we do not unilaterally make as your leadership team. We want to make sure we're factoring in your opinions as an agent. So we refer to our ALC. Once we kind of had the conversation as leadership, we refer to our ALC, and in those meetings, we will broach that topic and get them to vote on whether or not they'd like to see changes in what we currently have, or they'd like to keep things the same. They get to make that decision on your behalf and speak up as the voices of our agents. So if you miss conversations like that, because they are in-person only meetings, you want to know, okay, like what happened at that last meeting? Is it something I need to be aware of? You guys can find the meeting minutes posted to this Google Drive folder. Lynn Davis is uploading those anytime after the fact. So you guys can access those meeting minutes, know exactly what was talked about, who was in the meeting, anything that's exciting coming up, anything you should have on your radar for moving forward. All of that information will be found right there. Underneath that is a prayer request form. And honestly, this is more of a talking point than for me than anything else. And that is just to really reiterate to you guys, we very seriously do consider you to be our family now that you've joined Keller Williams Ballantyne. So please, 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 if you feel comfortable, always let us know if there's ever anything going on in your lives, because we want to do our best to support you through that. So whatever that may look like, whether that is literally just giving you a hug in the hall, asking you how things are going, that's checking in on you a little more frequently, or going even beyond that, we would happily do it as long as we know what's happening so that we can do that for you. So again, obviously, I'm not forcing your hand. If you do not feel comfortable, we understand, but we would love for you guys to lean in on us because we are here to be that supportive family for you and do whatever we can in our power to assist you through that. Whether it's your lives, lives of a loved one, just let us know. And then underneath KW perks, that is actually insurance marketplace related. So welcome to independent contracting, guys. You do not get insurance through your employers anymore. Congratulations. Very exciting stuff. As part of that, we obviously know that insurance is still a very important thing to have in our lives. So if you are in the realm of looking for a new insurance policy, or maybe you just want to see if there's something better than what you've already got out there that may be a better rate, whatever that looks like for you, you can shop KW Perks. Initially, Keller Williams had partnered with Capstone Financial. I want to say it's Kaplan now, but this will just allow you to drop in some basic information about you. You can then search the marketplace, and I know on average our agents are saving. I know it's upwards of 10%, and I will never have that figure on top of mind when I get in this room with you guys, but I know it's more than 10%. So please, please, please take a look at that if that is something that's been on your radar, because you never know what you could find, and just keep that in the back of your brain when and having the conversation about insurance. Scheduling a conference room, we already talked about that. KWB firm exclusive listings. I do believe eventually this will be obsolete because I believe that Command is being developed further so that this information will live in Command only. But what you will notice as part of being with Keller Williams Valentine, several of our agents in this office do prefer to take listings and offer them only to our agents. They do not want to put them on Canopy MLS. They want it to partner specifically with you. So if you guys are ever looking or working with a buyer and you are struggling to find something that's meeting the criteria of what they're looking for anywhere in MLS, we obviously do not want you to be stumped. I would absolutely recommend looking at KWB firm exclusive listings. It's a live Google document where you can click right on it and you can see any firm exclusive listings that have been or that are coming up that are actually already on market technically, even though they're not being advertised quite the same. This will allow you guys to see those properties and get connected with the listing agent. So if it does seem like, oh my gosh, there is that one thing on there that is going to work for my buyer, let me reach out. Oh, look, the listing agent is Jay White. I'm going to give Jay a quick call and you guys can talk more about the property and see if you can schedule that showing. But this way, again, you have access to kind of an additional resource, an archive of these properties that are available exclusively to you. So keep that in mind. Again, I do believe the intention with Command is that it will eventually track this information for you. But for the time being, this firm exclusive listings, Google Drive or the Google Sheet is going to be incredibly helpful. Every time paperwork is submitted for a firm exclusive listing to go live, Sabre will document that information in the Google Sheet. Underneath that, strategic vendor partners, if you forgot to join that Facebook page or you simply are not a Facebook user, I totally understand. We still want you to, of course, have access to our wonderful vendor partners. All you have to do is click on the strategic vendor partners drop down menu item, and this will show you again a live Google Sheet. And these are all of the vendors in our program. We have organized them here by industry, so it does make it a little bit easier to pull that information. You can see exactly who our direct contact is, what company they are with, also their information. And on the right-hand side, you can see services that are offered, as well as if they have a website, you can access that information as well. So know that all of that information is available to you, especially in the event that you did not connect through Facebook. You can find all of it here. And hopefully it just makes it again a little bit easier for you guys to build a really great resource and network of vendors that you know and trust that can help you and your clients moving forward. The other thing I always mention while looking at this, of course, is that if you see under construction, for example, right now I don't technically have anybody listed. That's not because we hate construction crews or anything of the matter. What it does mean though is that nobody had necessarily referred somebody for that particular industry. So what that then means for you guys is as you meet other vendors and work with other vendors, if there's someone you know and love and you think that they just do the best job out there, let us know. We want to make sure our vendor program has the best out there in the Charlotte area to help care for you and your clients. So if there's ever someone you partner with and you love, love, love them, let us know. It's super simple. All you have to do is connect them with Angela Bueno. She is overseeing our vendor program. She has business cards right up at the front desk in the lobby. You grab one of those, connect your friend and Angela via email and make that introduction. Angela will come in, she'll talk about she'll do all the legwork, she'll talk all the boring details about like what a vendor program is and like what it costs. So you guys can just make that connection, right? And be their best friend because you made that connection. And then if they're interested in joining the vendor program after receiving that information, taking a quick tour of the office with Angela, once they've committed to the vendor program, they immediately get access to 560 agents. I mean, that's huge. There's tons of opportunities for them to get in. So it really is a win-win for your vendor partners. So let us know if there's ever someone in your world that stands out that you'd like to be part of this program because we'd love to make the connection. Take us back. And then going back to our more tab, underneath Outfront Magazine, again, for those of us who want to have a heavy social media presence, but don't want to use all the brain power in the world. Outfront Magazine will also do a monthly kind of publishment where they literally outline a post that you can do every single day. So if ever there's a day that you're like, yep, nope, it's a rainy Thursday, I have no idea what I'm going to say. I don't have anything under contract. I'm not really working with any buyers right now. That's okay. Outfront Magazine has your back. They're going to give you a suggestion of what you can share so that you can make sure, again, your social media presence is continual. And then underneath that, we did already mention, obviously, we have our discount through the CE shop. But in addition to that, I mentioned Superior as well. If you click on discount codes for real estate education, guys, it's going to give you this cute little page inside of our website. Obviously, we've already visited the CE shop. Know that with Superior, rather than a fluctuating discount, you guys have 30% off as a long-standing discount. So again, I know that if we don't like the self-paced learning, we do usually tend to prefer a live classroom, whether that is face-to-face or through Zoom. Superior, obviously, team. So they offer both. You can go ahead and access that 30% discount. I would recommend click on access code. Just be careful. Obviously, you'll see Superior is here 3 times because the leftmost one is going to be for pre-licensing only. In the center there, you got post-licensing, and then on the far right, it's about your continuing education. So depending on what class you're looking for or what link you're trying to send someone else, you can click on those access code buttons to make your life really, really easy when joining our Facebook group, the primary group that is. If you've not already done it, all you have to do is click this Facebook icon in the top corner here. It'll take you right to that page where you can ask for, you can request access. And the very last thing, I know we've all looked at it together, but keeping in mind, you can book 30 minutes of time for free with Jules and Leah to talk about anything and everything KW technology. Click on I Need Tech Help in the top right corner, guys. I will tell you, I think they're booked up for the rest of November. But if you fast forward into December, you can see their availability. You can drag and drop, specifically say, okay, 12:30 works for me on the 4th. That's great. Next, tell them who you are. Am I meeting with you face to face, or would I prefer to meet remotely through Zoom? And then tell them everything you want to talk about, guys, because they can do so much to help you out, whether it is just teaching you the very basics and letting you implement on your own, or if you ever get to a point in growth in your business where you'd like to leverage those elements and just say, please, I just don't have the time. Could you just do it for me? They can do that for you. They will grow with you. So know that Jules and Leah are a continued resource. They are in the office all the time and they are here to help you guys. So refer to them as much as you need to, especially when navigating that KW technology. Normally, I would ask to take like a couple additional minutes of your time, but I did go a little over, so I'm going to be respectful of that. I will send everybody an email at the end of this conversation. There's one other thing I usually like to share with you guys, and it's how you guys can send an email blast through a separate website called mykw.kw.com. I like to give you guys examples and different avenues of ways you can do mass communication with very minimal effort. So I will share an email with you guys with a video on how to go about doing that, so you know exactly how to send an email blast moving forward that will go to literally all 560 agents at the press of a button. So I will send all that information to you via email just to be respectful of your time today. But before I let you guys go back to enjoying the rest of your Friday, getting home maybe and enjoying your weekends, are there any questions on what we covered that maybe we'd like to revisit? Anything we did not cover that we've got questions on? You know, it's a ton of information, so it is going to take a little bit of time to sink in, and I'm so sorry. It doesn't get any easier, unfortunately. What I will tell you, when referring to this, the best suggestion I have found, go back to KWB resources the next time you really want to sit down by your computer and walk your way back through this. Try and see if you can kind of follow along with what we did today. See if you can recall where all those pieces of information exist. If you do not recall, the great news is now you know. I'm going to post a recording of today on our YouTube channel, so you can go back and refer to that video if you need specifics. You also, my favorite, is you can slow me down so I don't talk so fast if you watch it on YouTube. I have been told I talk fast. Lynn says when she hears me talk to you guys for onboarding, her head spins. So sorry, I can't really slow it down very much, but I do want to make sure that you have access to the YouTube channel video in case you need it. And I will send you how to do that email blast as a thank you for being in this room today. But without any questions, and I didn't see Jamie drop anything in the chat, so I'm going to think that's a good sign. I will let you guys go back to the rest of your day and enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much for being here. I was going to be here no matter if you guys were in the room or not. So I appreciate everybody for giving me a little bit of their time today. And if you have questions moving forward, just email me or stop by my office. I'm happy to help. Thank you. Bye, Jamie. Anytime, guys.
Bye.